about our lovely presenter. Sherry Lachine is a mental health professional. She is the owner of Broadmind, a company that focuses on strategies for mental health and giving back to the community. She facilitates mental health courses for the Mental Health Commission of Canada and helps workplaces and community members learn the skills and knowledge to become high-functioning teams and connected people. Broadmind brings together professionals who are engaging and passionate about this education from a variety of professional angles to further inform and support individuals and groups. Sherry is a firm believer that these skills are an essential part of productivity, engagement, and employee retention, and an overall good sense of purpose and well-being. So you can also learn more about Sherry at www.broadmind.ca. And actually, we'll be sending everybody a link to Broadmind after this presentation too. And just a quick note, in case you didn't take enough notes, we will place this presentation on our YouTube channel that you can view at a different time, and we will send you the link to that as well. So now I will present to you our lovely Sherry. Take it away, my dear.
Mwah. Thank you so much, Josie. That was so lovely. Could you share that copy with me? I love it. I love it so much. So Gabby and Josie, thank you so much for the invitation to come back and speak to the group. And thank you to all of you for taking the time. The across the pond representation is a surprise, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to support you as well, giving you skills and knowledge to support yourself and the people that you also work with, live with, play with. I'm going to share my screen. And actually, Gabby, is it possible to get some power so I can do that? A little bit of, I think I got to be co-host or something to do that. I'm trying to do a technological wizardry here.
Excuse me.
I think it's just...
it's advanced, so optimize screen sharing.
So what's the statement of 2020 is you're on mute and can you share your screen? I think is sort of a, yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, so yeah, you're sharing your screen, but what you can do is you open up the participants, like the list of participants. And then I think beside my name, you can select co-host. So you'll have to stop sharing your screen. This is good. This is also a conversation from 2020.
Okay.
So if you click on the red stop share on the, and you know what the funny thing is? I'm going to try some new technology during this presentation. So
oh, thanks, Sherry. Thank you. We should have done this before we started. Okay.
Okay. So on my name, were you able to select co-host?
Yes, I did.
You did? Okay. And it's still host disabled participant screen sharing. So I'm still not there.
Sorry. Should have done this. Yeah, I've done it.
Oh. So actually, now that you're sharing your screen, so if you open up the participants, we go to the top and click on the participants. And then you see my name?
Yes, and I've done all that.
Have you? Okay, I'm still not able to share. That's really strange. It's a really good presentation. So it's, you know, like I spent time on it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate it's not happening here. Let me try this again. I'm so sorry. We should have done this, Sherry, before. Our apologies. Why don't we just start, Sherry, if you don't mind, and I'll still see what I can do here.
So absolutely. So I love technology. One of the things Josie didn't mention is that I started off my career as a military engineer. And so that was some of my foundational roots, but I don't deal with technology anymore. I work with people, emotions, thoughts, feelings, behaviors. And so that's where I spend my engineering time. So this technology stuff is like, woo! In any case, I'll keep trying. So one of the things that I was going to do was use a really cool polling technique to create a word cloud to kind of bring everybody into the room. One of the things that I have the opportunity to do is spend time with groups doing something called psychoeducation, teaching people the skills and knowledge around how to take care of their mental health. And then I also allow them with the connecting opportunities so they can validate how they feel, think, and act. And so in order to come into the room, I see we have 17 people here. Maybe what we'll do is we will go around the room, name, where you're Zooming from, and maybe one thing that you have been doing to take care of you during this pandemic. What's your go-to? What do you do to actually make sure that you're taking care of you? So I'm going to actually, Gabby Markham, all the way. You're up in the top right, the pole position. So name.
Yeah, so Gabby Markham. I live in a little town called Shepperton, which is in a borough called Surrey, which is just outside London. So sorry, I'm very aware of how English I sound now. So I've never felt more English.
We love it.
And one of the things I've been doing to look after myself is, for me, I think, like I said at the start, you know, I'm a massive extrovert and I'm very tactile. So it's been very difficult not being able to have the sort of same personal connections, you know, water cooler conversations that you would do with people in the office. So I've just been trying to maximize as much contact as I can get with people, friends, family. Danny and I, who's on the call as well, she's a very close colleague of mine, close friend. So we've been seeing each other outside. So we're all within the restrictions. We're just trying to sort of capitalize on whatever we can do, because I need that human to human contact. So I've just been trying to capitalize on that wherever possible. I do Zoom quizzes with friends on a Friday night and stuff, which is good fun. So just trying to absolutely max out on as much contact with people as I can, whether it's virtual or even better face to face. I've been going all out on that.
I love that so hard, and I apologize. I was a little distracted trying to send my slides across, but I love that you're here, and I love that you know yourself, that you're an extrovert and you need that connection and that water cooler chat. I'm with you. I'm with you. I've got my little dog here and they're lovely. Like, I love spending time with her, but I need some real human to human connection. So Gabby, thank you for kicking that off. I really appreciate that. I'm going to move over to Joanna. Joanna, welcome.
Thank you. I'm Joanna Hobson. I am Canadian, but I live in Idaho. And I don't know why I look so green right now. That's bothering me.
You don't look like on this side.
I actually switched jobs in the middle of COVID, and which I think is a lucky thing. I'm in a much less stressful job, so that's really helped me. I work 3 days a week in the office and 2 days a week at home, although one of the days is schooling for my daughter, which I chose not to be a teacher for a reason. And she's, God bless her, but it's frustrating. So for me, I have found, some exercise that it's always been challenging. I have a health condition that challenges me, but I have a trike now, a recumbent bike. And so I have found doing that with my 5-year-old and her big wheel. We're like a 3-wheeled gang. And we go out, and I just making time for me, no matter how silly it sounds, it just really helps. The break really helps. And I'm an introvert, so I don't mind all the time away, but I think that making the big choices to do what's right in your life is really important.
I love that, Joanna. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. And self-care isn't selfish, it's self-compassion. And I know the way that I grew up, it was selfish. Not anymore. It's a priority.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You go on your trike. I think that's perfect. I love it. Thank you, Joanna. Anne, over to you.
Okay. Hi. I'm Ann Max. I'm a productivity expert, and I transform your business into action. So if I can't be productive during this COVID, nobody can. But that doesn't mean that I haven't had challenges, I've got to tell you. I think one thing I did was I got back to exercising on my bike, which is good. But one thing I started to do very recently is I only listen to the news or read the news once a day.
Brilliant.
Because I was doing it at the beginning of the pandemic. I was doing it every like 5 seconds, and it was driving me nuts. So that has really helped the mental health.
You're getting a lot of nods, Anne. You're getting a lot of nods. Like, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we turn on the news in the morning and we're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you. I'm so glad you said that. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Nice.
Nice to be here.
Over to Claudette.
Oh, you got to put your mic. There we
Yep,
go.
There we go.
put my mic on. Hi, everyone. And Max, hi. It's been a long time since I've seen you. I'm an author and speaker and consultant, political consultant, and having had my own personal challenges with mental health, I'm quite aware of the importance of self-care. Like was just said, it's not being selfish, it's looking after yourself so that you can look after others. And so what I do, I go out at least once a day out in the sun or out for a walk, do my exercise. We go to my husband and I go to a track and we go around and take in the rays. The other thing I do is listen to music. It's a universal language and it's very relaxing for me. And I have a check-in list of friends who, you don't keep in touch with all the time, but this is a great time to just check in and see how they're doing. So I still have my Rolodex, as they call it, to make sure that I keep in contact with friends that need a hello and I need the hello.
I love that, Claudette. Lots of stuff to take care of you. And I love that you said the vitamin D, right? Getting the sunshine on you. There's health benefits that are linked to vitamin D and being outside. So well done.
That's right.
Claudette, I'm glad you're here.
Thanks, Sherry.
Over to Danny.
Hi, I'm Danny Zanato. I live in the UK, not very far, as I said, like from Gabby. And I think like Claudette as well, like I've gone through quite a few personal, I think, challenges. And I think as a result has helped me like to be very self-aware of certain things about myself. So, but I think what I've done this year like differently, like was introducing physical activity. So I think this has been a very positive activity that I've prepared myself to or set a goal like to do it for this year. So regardless of COVID, but with COVID or not, I've been enjoying it and I've been doing, with my husband as well. So I think that has helped me.
I love that for you. And during this pandemic, one of the things that researchers are pointing to is if at the very least you can do a little bit of physical activity, that's going to support you. It's going to prime your mental health. So well done you, and connecting with your significant other as well. That'll help with that connection. So those are really great ways to take care of you. Danny, thank you.
Thank you.
Glad you're here. Over to Sharon. Sharon, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Hello, welcome.
Hi, I am Sharon Dallin, and I live in Ohio in the United States. And I guess some of the things that I have been doing more so is a lot of prayer and meditation. And I think the biggest thing through this pandemic that's going on is trying to just stay in the here and now. Not in the yesterday, not in the tomorrow. I've been rewatching some old series of Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, and he has just watching that has done wonders for my anxiety and also for remembering, just like dogs, they stay in the here and now. They don't worry about yesterday and they don't worry about tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so I've been practicing that a lot more, and it has definitely helped.
Sharon, I love that you said that. And yeah, a little guilty pleasure to binge watching a little bit of Dog Whisperer.
Yes.
But presence, being present in the moment, and mindfulness, another well-researched technique, and it works, right? Helping to reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. Sharon, I'm glad you're here. Really nice. Over to Annie.
Hi there, another one from across the pond, down in Bristol, which is in the west of England, for those who don't know. I work from home, got 2 boys and my husband, and for looking after myself, I've been into exercise for a long time, so getting outside is really important. But something a bit more unusual is cold water swimming, which I do that, and this is my 3rd winter of doing that with a group, and that's amazing for mental health. There's research going on with that at the moment, and it's very scary the first time, but very addictive. So that's my little...
I'm going to look into that. I think that's fantastic. I started watching My Octopus Teacher, and he's in the cold water, and he says it's just stimulating the right type of hormones.
It's incredible. Yeah, there's lots of research going on into it at the moment, and how, I mean, there's lots of stories I've heard through the groups I've been involved with about people that have been on antidepressants and quite heavy medication, and through cold water swimming, it really helps them get on top of that. And it's it's very interesting, and it does give you one hell of a natural buzz.
Annie, I'm glad you shared that. Thank you for that. And that's maybe not for me, but I love that there's stuff there. And I think it's good for all of us to recognize that not everything works for everybody, right? That's
right,
a really nice way to take care of you. Annie, thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Over to Linny.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, good. I also live in Bristol, southwest of England. I'm retired, but I do voluntary work for a charity supporting families. And how I've kept busy, if you like, I do lots of yoga. I also walk a lot. Every day I go out walking, maybe 12 miles or so. So I do a lot of exercise. And also what I've done is, this is my first winter in England for maybe 20 years. So to prepare myself, I've been out and bought winter clothing, waterproof trousers, walking boots. So nothing is going to stop me from going out and exercising.
Linny, we've got a visual. Everybody's got their own visual of you in our heads.
Exactly. That's
love
me.
It. Love it, Linny. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Nice. Over to Annette. Hi, Annette.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Good.
So I've been an entrepreneur for 33 years in a cosmetic company, which everything was face-to-face, everything was event-oriented. So we really had to pivot quickly and turn to virtual. And you know what? I wasn't really one on the virtual thing, but had to do that. So, you know, one thing too that many people have said is self-care, moving your body for 30 minutes a day, walking, whatever that may be. Another thing is listening to podcasts, and Rachel Hollis, I love all of her books. She's really had to pivot too, a platform speaker, and you know, huge crowds, and now she's done some amazing things as well. I just like even Oprah's Super Soul conversations, you know, find something you love, whatever that may be. Journaling. I've journaled for a long time, but during this pandemic, journal has really been a great therapy for your mind.
Fantastic.
So I guess the hardest thing being an extrovert and being an entrepreneur is everything you plan, everything I used to plan would happen virtually, it would happen. But now plans we made, some of them had to be put on hold, and just to learn to simplify life and just really focus on every day. So I, been going to Florida for 9 years in the winter, so I'm going to have to turn my flip-flops into snowshoes. And that's even kind of disheartening, but we're trying, I've got skates I haven't used in years, so maybe I need to start skating and enjoying the Canadian winters.
Well, that's the thing, right? And listen to how you've shifted your perspective as well, right? Because entering into the winter, I'm watching everybody to see how we're going to handle this winter, and we need these skills. We need these perspective shifts in order to take care of ourselves and others. So, Annette, I really appreciate that. I'm glad you're here. Really nice. And good luck with issues.
Sherry, may I interrupt? We have such a big group online, and also in essence of time, do you think we'll go now to some of the strategies that you're going to present for mental wellness during the time, if you don't mind? Yeah, because we have a big group. Yeah.
I'm going to say that those who haven't had a chance to check in, and of course I did a pivot because we weren't able to show some of my slides. But for those who want to share what it is that they do to take care of you, you can put that in the chat. And I think what I would love to say at this point, and Gabby, thank you for sort of ushering us along, is that listen to all the different things that we do to take care of ourselves. They're all different, right? And not everything works for everybody. And they're important, and we need to prioritize them. But also, I think I did a little bit of a trick. I allowed you all to be seen, at least most of you, heard and understood. And as humans, we need that. We need to be able to validate our experiences. We need to be able to validate where we are right now, because we're in week number blah, blah, blah of the pandemic. I'm not keeping track, but I know that there's a constant low level anxiety, stress, uncertainty. And that's going to cause, stress, adversity, and challenges for all of us. So typically what I like to do is I do love that people are seen, heard, and understood. And that's part of our role of taking care of other people. But you all checked in with the stuff that you do to take care of you. So I'm going to go through, I'm actually going to follow my slides, even though you can't see them. You should see the beautiful.
So sorry about that.
But you should see the beautiful picture that I have. In your check-in, you all sort of mentioned some of the challenges that you're facing as well. That this pandemic, Gabby, you were saying, of course, you're an extrovert and you need to connect with other people. And that is really tough that we don't have those opportunities. As much as I love Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and other platforms, I'm virtually fatigued, right? Like there's a bit of stuff where we're just like, I need to touch people. I'm a hugger. And so recognizing that could be part of some of the additional stressors that we're going to feel. Not to mention, and who was it that was talking about taking a social media / news diet? Claudette, was that you? One of you did. One of you were saying that, we needed to sort of take a diet. Yes, absolutely. The bombardment of headline fatigue, headline stress can impact us as well. And the political situation, I don't know why, but I am immersed in the Southern politics, like our friends, the US. It, to me, is one of those huge stories. It's a historical story. And I just can't seem to tear myself away. So taking a break on that, but recognizing what it's doing to me in terms of my mental health. And then working with and spending time with people when we're virtual, or sometimes when we're distanced, but together. Navigating people's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors can be really hard, especially if ours aren't doing very well. So all of these ideas, all of these concepts can add adversity, challenge, and dare I say, maybe small T trauma and big T trauma, right? And so one of the things I like to do when I spend time with people is not only do I trick them and allow them to be seen, heard, understood, and validated, but I like to talk about our bodies and how we actually react to stress. I don't think we actually really learn that stuff in school. And so because I'm a reformed engineer, sometimes I go back to my engineering roots and I talk about sort of hardware and software. So if we look at the whole idea of hardware and software, a concept that I think we sort of understand, because I'm looking at my laptop here, my phone, hardware, the physical components, software being the components that you can add and take out. Our bodies are essentially a combination of hardware and software. So hardware, our bodies, our minds, the way we react to stress. Software is, well, we come with factory settings, right? How we think, feel, and act. And we could decide to add applications or to remove them, right? And that's what mental health and mental wellness can be looked at, right? That we can actually add software applications or remove them, or we could sit with our factory settings, but we have a choice. So first and foremost, recognizing that the hardware will react to challenges, adversity, and trauma in a very similar way. We go into fight, flight, freeze, or some people say flop and fawn. But our minds go into this fight, flight, freeze, and our sympathetic nervous system presses on the gas, right? It goes, it revs. Heart rate goes up, blood flow goes to the muscles you need to run away from that, well, saber-toothed tiger, or the email from your mom that said she's disappointed in you, right? That's fight, flight. Okay, does that feel like it's too real when I said that? Fight, flight, freeze. And if we don't actually do something about that reaction or understand that it's happening, we could stay in that fight, flight, freeze. Because another thing that happens when you're in that mode is your cognition goes offline. You make terrible choices, right? It's just what happens. So we need to be able to bring that all back online. And we can learn the skills and knowledge to do that. Because chronic activation of that stressor, right? That stressor response, that gas response, that revving, well, what's the computer revving? Everything's solid state now, so you don't hear the whole zzz. And again, that's maybe too engineering, but I have left that in the past. The chronic activation of that can actually impair our health. You can imagine, right? If you're revving your engine constantly and maybe even trying to step on the brake, sometimes you're stepping on brake and gas at the same time. That could be really, really hard. And so many different manifestations, physical and psychological manifestations could come up: headaches, heartburn. I've got a little bit of a list. I'm going to increase depression, insomnia. For me, a key indicator that my mental health is moving in the wrong direction is how I'm sleeping, right? I sort of do a, Sherry, where are you today? And I'm going to tell you, the past 3 days, not sleeping so good. So my husband and I are trying to troubleshoot that. What's going on? What are the stressors? What's our diet? We look at it, we troubleshoot our mental health in 3 different areas. We call it bio, psycho, social. The bio is your physical body. And a lot of you checked in with, I go for walks, I'm buying snowshoes, and then Annie with the cold water, man, kudos. So that biology piece, really important. The psychology piece, also important for our mental health. What story are you telling yourself? What's the story in your head? What's the perspective in your head? And the last one is social. How are you connecting with people in your life, right? Are you getting the right social connections that you need? Because we are hardwired to connect. And dare I say, sometimes we don't have the right skills to do that safely, to really support each other safely. But we can learn them, and we need to put them into practice. So other things that could happen is if we're in constant and chronic stress, our immune system tanks. And during this pandemic, immune system, this is what we need to keep built up and supported. So recognizing when you're in fight, flight, freeze is really important. right? Looking at all of the physical components. And I'm going to give you 3 tools by the end of this presentation. I meant to say that earlier. 3 tools you can use right now to reduce that stress, that chronic activation. Higher blood sugar as well, tense muscles, right? Sometimes you just sort of feel that in your neck and shoulders. And on my list here, it says low sex drive. Some recreational activity that maybe you need to just reduce some stress. So recognizing that could be one of the chronic symptoms of too much stress. So on this next slide, which is beautiful, I'm just going to tell you, it's fabulous. It's a mental health thermometer. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the chat a link to a mental health thermometer for you. Maybe I'll do that at the end because I can't focus, can't walk and chew gum right now. But I'm going to describe it to you that the thermometer is, if you look at a rainbow, right? A rainbow starts off with, so it goes red, orange, yellow, green, and then it has 2 other colors, blue and purple. But let's focus on the first 4. Red, orange, yellow, green. It's essentially your mental health thermometer. Green being you're healthy. You're healthy, you're normal, not a standard green healthy that everybody has to feel. But it means that in terms of your mood, your behavior, your perspective, the way you're connecting with people, the way you're taking care of your body, it's your green, right? And so recognizing that, you know, we all have our own healthy, our own normal. The next color, I'm going to move sort of backwards on the rainbow, yellow. Yellow is reacting. Because we're going to react to stressors, challenges, adversity, and trauma. And so yellow being reacting is normal. It's low level stress, emotions, fatigue. Is it okay to feel sad, mad, angry? Do you think that it's okay to feel those feels? I want to see some nods or some thumbs. Yeah, it's okay to feel that. We have to. We're emotional beings. And so knowing that we're in that reacting phase and being able to sort of assess yourself and go, oh, yeah, I feel that. Knowing it's okay to be not okay, but then knowing what you need to do. And Annie, I'm going to bring up the cold water thing because it's just the first thing, jump in the cold water to get yourself back out to green. And so here's an example actually of me reacting, of me yellow and me not knowing it. I'm pandemicking not only with my 5-pound dog who's all fluff and fury. Oh, and she's disappeared. So we may hear her in a little bit. I'm also pandemicking with my husband. 2 children are gone. They're in different places. My husband and I were sitting having breakfast the other morning. He decides to have granola and he starts chewing the granola. Right? Standard breakfast practice. But what happened to me was I felt like I was getting hot on the back of my neck. I was getting angry and irritated. I could feel it on my face. And I was just about to launch something that wasn't very nice. I was just about to say something that, ooh, was this side of mean. And I went, yellow. I'm reacting to something. And then I realized, well, I hadn't slept in a number of days, right? My key indicator. I was worried about the kids, right? And COVID and everything and my family. And I realized I had some deadlines that week. I wasn't going to make them. Stress. So I knew I needed to take care of me. All the things that you said that you did to take care of you, I needed to up my game there and make sure that I took care of me. So yellow. Orange is the next step. This is persistent. This is a little more severe. You might see somebody snap, right? Easily enraged, fatigued, maybe isolating when they don't normally isolate, maybe not taking care of their physical body. That can be really hard. You could kind of see people in that orange. And then red is more of, it's a potential illness if you live in red for a long time, right? And I'll go back to that easily enraged. If you've ever spoken with someone, right? And it just is like anger comes right out of nowhere. You're like, okay, that is red behavior. And where's that coming from? we humans go through all these colors, woo, right? Because it is a continuum, it is a thermometer. But the sooner we get care and support, when we recognize yellow, orange, and red, the more likely we're going to get back to a good green path. So we need to recognize that in ourselves. And then there's some skills around how do you recognize that and support others while they're going through that as well. So quick poll. No, I can't do a quick poll because I wanted it to be anonymous. Do you guys resonate with that? The color scheme? Does that sort of make sense, you know, from a mental health perspective? Yeah.
Very good.
As a reformed engineer, I need tools. I need tools. And that to me is a tool that I use. I see the thumb up, and good use of technology there. You get 10 points. Not that the points mean anything at all. And I'll give extra points to the people across the pond just for, you know, the time difference and being here. Really appreciate that. And then Anne, you asked, can we get the slides later? Yeah, I can absolutely put them in a PDF. Right now, it's 25 megs large, so I couldn't email it over. In any case, I'll make sure you get the slides.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was chatting with a good friend of mine who understands this thermometer piece, and we were talking about when do you check in with yourself? And they came up with a brilliant idea. They said every time they put on their mask, right, when they're going into the store or whatever, they check in with themselves with, what color am I? How am I doing today? And I thought that was brilliant, right? Just these little moments of, I'm putting this mask on, I'm going to check in with me. That makes sense too, as a little bit of a technique. All right, here's your 3 skills. You guys ready? And actually, to be honest, a lot of you spoke on some of these skills, and there's a lot of knowledge in the room. I'm just going to give you what I consider to be the 3 go-to. And the go-to ones speak to when I was talking about that stress response, that trauma response, fight, flight, freeze. These ones specifically talk to how do you get yourself out of that, right? How do you recognize it? So using the thermometer, recognize that you're somewhere. And then how do you immediately get yourself out of that? So here are some 3 of those techniques. And I did mention biopsychosocial. So the biology, we're going to focus on 2 techniques for biology, 1 technique for psychology, because if you're in trouble in terms of your mental health, prime your physical, go for that walk, right? Figure out what you need to do to take care of you from a physical perspective, and soon your mental health comes back online. So here, all right, really great slide. Well, here I'm now pumping up the slides, and you're going to get them, and you're going to be like, Sherry, that wasn't a great slide. It was okay. It was okay at best. In any case, first use now tool for your mental health is to do a realistic check-in with your body. So how do you do that? There's a lot of different ways that you can check in with your body. Well, here's one that my husband and I use, and we've been using it for years. It's, let's all put your hand up for a second. I'm not a pressure point person. I am Reiki certified, so I do a lot of energy healing. But this one I found really interesting. And then you put pinch your hands in the hand valley spot, massage that. What do you feel? No. Do you feel any pain? Any tension? No. I see Joanna's like, no, you are good.
No pain.
No pain, no tension. Try the other side. Any pain, any tension?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about that particular spot, for me and for many people that I work with, when they're tense and stressed, that's the spot that they can actually feel, oh, there it is. I feel like my body is reacting to a stressor. And massaging it actually can reduce stress, especially in the neck, shoulders, and teeth, which is weird. So checking in with yourself and your body, choosing a spot. And for me, that's a good spot just to do a little bit of where is my body? Because our bodies are really smart. And our bodies actually keep the score. Trauma, stress, adversity, our bodies keep the score. And working with people who've experienced and are overcoming the impacts of trauma, we work with their bodies. So checking in, I see Gabby, you put a celebrity therapeutic couple over here called the Speakmans advocate this technique. Okay, I'm going to look them up. Thank you. They're celebrities too. So checking in with your body, and it could be other parts of your body that you want to check in with, but just recognizing that it is your body that will hold that tension. It'll find a place to put that stress, and maybe it's in different parts, including migraines, your digestion. So checking in with your body, and that was just a simple technique to sort of check in with you, because then you'll sort of also figure out where you are on that scale: green, yellow, orange, or red. The next technique, which is also a body-based technique, and this one is, it's huge when we try and help people overcome the impacts of trauma, specifically when the sympathetic nervous system has taken over and that gas pedal is down. We need to get our body back online. We need to tell our central nervous system that you're okay, that it isn't a real threat that's coming your way, right? Because not everything is a real threat. Yes, there are some real threats, but some of them aren't. Some of them can be handled. And so recognizing that your body goes, okay, go to the dentist, Anne, nice to see you. Like the yuck. Nice to see you. So one way to get your central nervous system back online and to get your thinking brain back online, does anybody know what that is? Breath. And that's why this whole idea of breath work, and I've recently employed an old friend to do breath work with. She's a Kundalini yoga instructor, and we do breath work because I want to teach myself to be able to get my nervous system back online. It's a skill, just like running is a skill, walking is a skill, shoveling, knitting,
Cooking.
cooking. Skills. So breath work, we're going to try it. We're going to give it just a little bit of a try if you guys are ready, and you can humor me on this one.
Yeah.
And there's so many meditations and breath work that you can do online through YouTube. Let's just give it a shot and see if it actually works. So the way we're going to set ourselves up is you're sitting in your chair. I want you, of course, to feel comfortable, or lying in your bed. You can lie in your bed, Danny. Don't worry about whatever makes sense for you. I want you to focus on one part of your body that you can actually feel. Like right now, I'm thinking about my feet rooted in the ground, right? So I'm just sort of, my thought is going there because I want to make sure that I'm connecting with my body. We're going to do 3 deep breaths. We're going to breathe in for 4, we're going to hold for a bit, and out for 4, hold for a bit. We're going to do that 3 times. And then let's just see if there's any difference, if there's anything that you've noticed that's changed. So if you're ready, and feel free to close your eyes. I'm an eye closed kind of person, so that's what I'm going to do. So check in with your body, that part that you are thinking about, feel it, and take a couple of breaths on your own. And then together, what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, and out 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. Try and do this all through your nose. In 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, and out 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way out, all the way out. One more time. In 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, and out, all the way out, all the way out, all the way out, all the way out. Take a couple breaths on your own. Check in with that body part that you're connecting with. And then open your eyes. It could take a little while to connect with the whole idea that you're actually deactivating and relaxing your nervous system. It could take some while. I've done this work with my husband. He's like, it doesn't do anything, right? I'm fine. It's not working. So recognizing that it is a practice. There is one meditation that I love that's on YouTube. It has a swear word in it, so I don't recommend it for everybody. Because I used to be in the military, I think I have a bit of a potty mouth. That's what I blame, but it's a lovely little meditation that basically says, F that and let it go. Let it go. Really helpful and great. So I don't know if I'll share that, but just take a look, Google meditation and breath work. So getting yourself back online through breath, fantastic. The last tool and technique, which is a psychological technique, is to change the story, right? Change the story that you are entertaining in your head. And it could be a big story about who you are, or it could be about a specific interaction. So here's an example. On the weekend, my husband and I went and brought some food to a family who experienced some loss. And we knew that they just, they needed some sort of connection, something to eat. And so we brought it over and they went very well. And I didn't make it. I went to a place called Berryfield Meat Market here. They make great lasagnas. And because in my head, my story is I'm a terrible cook. And so I brought it over and I kept saying, I bought it because I'm a terrible cook. I bought it because and I'm like, we were leaving and I went, that's not the story. The story is I have no interest in cooking. It's not that I'm a terrible cook, but look at what that belief does to me. Mm-hmm. It says that I'm not good. No, I'm just not interested. I haven't even given it an effort. And so changing the story, changing the perspective to make sure that it's one that serves you is important. And it's actually, it works immediately, right? It works absolutely immediately. It could be a small story and it could be a really big story. If you've ever seen the movie, and this might be a blast from the past, like the movie The Matrix, right? Mm-hmm. There's a movie with Keanu Reeves. It's sci-fi, it's kind of, many people I read on a blog, they're like, I don't understand the Matrix, and that's okay. But the idea about the Matrix was all of a sudden, the main character who saw the world one way, saw it completely a different way and couldn't go back ever. So when you change your perspective, when you change your story, you see everything differently. And so positivity, to change your story to a more positive one that serves you, is a huge technique. And I'm not talking about positivity that isn't grounded in truth and reality. I'm talking about positivity that is real, right? That's realistic for you. Because fluffy kittens, rainbows, all of that stuff, love them. But that's not the positivity I need. I need realistic positivity. And in this pandemic, I've heard many messages of hope. And some of the ones that really resonate with me and that I'm going to share with you, and I'm sure you also all have messages of hope that and positivity to support other people. One of them is it's okay to be not okay. It's okay to be yellow and orange, right? But then also to recognize that I need to prioritize taking care of me to move back into green. And then the other one that I heard the other day, which I love, is that we're all on the same storm, but in different boats, right? So we're all going to manage this with the education, experience, energy, and connections that we have in that moment. And it's okay for each other to handle this all very differently. So 3 tools to use now: body, you can check in with your body; breath work to get yourself out of that stress, that chronic stress, and that requires practice; and change your story in small ways, big ways, but recognize that some of the stories that you're living in aren't helping, and we have the power to make that change. So I'm hoping that those are just 3 small techniques, and you all have wonderful techniques that you used when you checked in. I'm hoping that those 3 techniques can just give you some additional actionable items that you can do to take care of you, because taking care of us is that number 1 priority, right? You've seen or heard, you guys been on a plane before? Anybody?
Yeah.
No, not recently. I've had to cancel so many flights. But when you're on a plane, when they say the oxygen changes and the masks fall, what do they say next?
Well, first.
You're
Right.
first.
You're
Right.
first.
Take care of you first. But guess what? If you're a parent, a caregiver, well, anybody who is probably on this call, right? Guess what we're doing? We're putting masks on everybody before we support ourselves. So recognizing that tendency as well. It's natural, right? Boundaries, take care of you every step of the way. You're important. So I'm hoping you felt seen, heard, and understood at the beginning. I'm hoping you learned a few things, and I really appreciate your time. So thank you to both to Gabby and Josie. I think, without slides, we're okay. We did okay.
Yes, you did.
You did very well.
We do have 6 minutes for questions, though, if anybody has any questions, and I can guide you towards material and whatnot.
Yes. So if there's any questions that we haven't addressed, anyone have any questions at all?
Well, there's going to be just one. One that, Claudette, I see it's on the tip of your tongue. I see that you have a question there.
Yes, Claudette, you go for it.
Thanks. I loved your talk, by the way, Sherry. It was practical, and it was it was more than this, but it was so fitting for what we're going through. And I love your saying that we're all in the same storm, but in different boats. And the analogy you made with the mental thermometer, I think, having been there, and sometime I'll share that story, but that thermometer is critical, and it's critical for all of us to recognize it. I'd heard about it. I do it in meditation, but not in the same context that you spoke of. But once you get to red, if you stay in red too long, there's no coming back. It's like being in quicksand and trying to get out.
Wow.
So for me, I think I would get medical attention at that point, but I wondered if you had a technique or a suggestion of how long should we stay in red before we do something, or do we advise? You talked about your partner a lot, that you work together. Should I talk with my partner and say, look, if you see me getting into the red for too long and I don't recognize it, what do I do?
Yeah, great question, Claudette, and thank you for that, because we're masters of coping, right? We will cope until we hit red. Not unlike if you have a sprained ankle and you say, no, I'm fine. I'll keep walking. Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm gonna do the 5K, the 10K, right? We do that. And so the statement is always, the sooner people get that support and care, the more likely they're going to get better. The longer you spend in that red, to your point, the harder it is to find that professional help, because it's not always on hand. The wait lists are long. It costs money, right? So that's a tough one. So in yourself, feeling the yellow oranges, getting there sooner when it's sprained ankle, going to start taking care of myself, right? Not just keep moving through this, because we're different now. This isn't the 70s, the 60s, 70s, and 80s, where it's like, suck it up, buttercup, right? We don't do that anymore. And then to your point about your partner or your spouse, that's huge, right? Recognizing these signs and symptoms in others is huge. There's and I'm going to leave you with a link to a free course brought to you by the Mental Health Commission of Canada called Caring for Others. And so it's 2 hours of learning how to engage someone in a serious conversation. And I teach many of those. So we may encounter, see each other again on one of those, but I'll make sure that Gabby and Josie have that link. And you can all, even in the UK, sign up for those courses. They're free of charge, brought to you by the Mental Health Commission of Canada. And I love it. So it'll help you, Claudette. It'll give you more skills. So when you see orange and red, you're like, what do I do? And you'll see that continuum in that course as well. Does that help?
Yes, thank you ever so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Claudette.
Well done. Good question.
Yes. So, Sherry, this has been absolutely wonderful, and our apologies about the slides, but you did an awesome job. You're just a natural at this, and you were able to share such reality where we're all at right now. And I agree with Claudette and your comment, we're all in the same storm, but on different boats. And how are we handling that? And as women, we are all about nurturing and caring. So you got that extra pressure even more so now because there's so much other things going on. So this is so important. And that's why we brought you back, because we had you in April and now we're down into October. Where do things look? And we may look again further down again. And also we're delighted also with Claudette. She's going to be one of our keynote speakers in January, kicking off our year. So we're really delighted about that. I'm not going to say too much more because that'll be a nice surprise. And so Sherry, thank you for your expertise. And we're so delighted that you're here in our community, but you're sharing yourself with London, England, and the States and Canada. So that's just awesome. We're so thrilled. And that's why we do these presentations. Like Josie and I, we had to pivot very quickly as well in March. And in 72 hours, we had to come up with presentations. How do we stay in contact with our 1,300 in our community here in Eastern Ontario? You can't just, we had to be there for them. And, you know, presentations like yourself, Sherry, and all the other ones that we had, it's really been instrumental, and we're going to continue with that. We may not have it every week because there is a little bit of Zoom fatigue, and there's a lot of information coming at all of us. So you need to do it very strategically as well, like we did this morning. So we are very grateful to you. Thank you. And we're very grateful for all our guests who are with us. Thank you for your time. And we will make sure this is being recorded. So this will be in our e-newsletter, Josie, right? And on our website eventually. And if you're able to send the presentation to us, Sherry, we'll share that as well with your beautiful creative slides that you created that we couldn't showcase.
All right, to me, they're creative and beautiful. No judgment, no judgment. In the chat, I just put a couple of things. One is if you want to do 30 minutes of chatting to figure out other things that we can do together, I'd love that. But also the second link there, if you just copy and paste that into another document so you have access to that link, you can book in an hour, like an hour session like this with your team, where you get an opportunity to be seen, heard, and understood. A lot of companies that I'm working with right now, that's what they need. They want to reduce loneliness, isolation, and increase that connection and productivity. So that's what we do. And we learn something new each time we do that check-in. So
fabulous. Thank you.
And then I put mentalhealthfirstaid.ca. Those are the free courses for caring for others. Great.
Wonderful. Stuff. We really appreciate that. I do have just a few announcements, if I may, just take some extra of your time. Our next presentation is scheduled for November 24th, and we'll be sending through more details on that. So just make sure that you have subscribed to our website, www.womenmeanbusiness.ca. It's a free subscription, and we send out an e-newsletter every 2 weeks. And it keeps you informed, and you're always welcome to be part of those presentations. I also wanted to mention that we have a couple of specials, and we have a new store that we created. And I just want you to know, with this robe that you see behind me, I'm not sitting in my closet. It's called Women on the Move Canada, and we've brought together artists and design, and we're creating beautiful products, from pillowcases, duvets, to fashion decor, etc. So we just launched that. This is part of our pivoting as well, but it does align very well with Women Mean Business as well. So do check us out if you like, womenonthemovecanada.ca. Right now, we're only shipping in Canada, but that does not mean that we will expanding eventually. We just launched this about 3-4 weeks ago. This is very new for us. And it's been a great distraction from this whole COVID thing, because it's forced us, you know, like how we wanted to enter a new venture as well that aligns well. And on that note, we're always about giving back to community. And with the Women on the Move Canada store, we have created a promotion for any face covering masks that are purchased. We are donating a certain amount to the Dawn House, which is a women's shelter. And this is starting as of now, and it goes through December the 5th. So it's best just to go online, and all the information will be in our e-newsletter coming out in this week, right, Josie, on the 29th as well. And we also have put together, again, to support local businesses, we call a Celebrate and Appreciate package for your Yeah, and that's one key. I think the appreciation right now of people is very important, to appreciate who's around you, who's supporting you, to be acknowledged, as you say, Sherry. That's really crucial. So we've created a Celebrate and Appreciation gift package for the festive season, where if you want to appreciate someone or make them feel special, or send them a gift for the festive season, it's we brought together the Unwind Wine Company on Highway 15. We brought in Kingston Florist to do a nice arrangement, and we brought in Coco Bistro chocolates. And we've created that package, going to be a beautiful gift package, and we have 60 packages available that we're putting together and getting that out the week after December 5th. So if you're interested, again, that'll all be on our newsletter as well. So we have lots going on. It's been a great distraction. We have no time to be depressed. So thank you again, all of you, for coming. And once again, we welcome you from London, England. Thank you. And in the States, thank you for being with us. You're always welcome to be with us. And we'll make sure all that information gets online from Sherry for you. It's been great tips. Thank you.
They were great. If I just may, also, I want to thank the ladies that earlier in the presentation who shared their thoughts and ideas.
Yes.
I found that incredibly helpful just for me. So I don't know, my brain is thinking of how to connect us all again in the future, because I found that to be something that was inspiring. So thank you, ladies.
Yes.